All right, Chris Haynes, senior NBA insider, Yahoo Sports, former Warrior reporter and Cavs reporter. Followed LeBron around, followed the Warriors around. Chris Haynes is joining us now, part of our FS1 basketball family. All right, let's start with this. I did it to start this hour. People giving me flack. I said there's only 5 guys in the NBA I'd trade Zion for. Kevin Durant, Harden, Giannis, Steph Curry. Okay, there's 4. How many guys would you, if you had to trade Zion, who I think is going to be a marketing machine in the age of Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, I think he's going to be, in terms of marketability, right out of the gate, bigger than LeBron. Not the game, but the marketability, the smile, the magic thing. How many guys in the NBA would you say, okay, I got Zion, but I'm going to trade him for blank?
Okay, before I give you the answer to that, so are you, if you're the GM and you say that's your position, that's what you would take. So are you going for marketing dollars or are you going for actual wins on the basketball floor?
I am saying that for 14 years, I have got the number one. I mean, even the letter Z is sellable, right? They say that's one of the sellable letters in the alphabet. Z, Zion. He's already known as one name: Pele, Kobe, Magic. He comes microwavable superstar. So I'd make a ton with him. Listen, Bryce Harper, Chris, has never won a playoff series. He's a .270 career hitter. Bryce Harper's a star in America. And he's a good player.
Okay. So let me say this. I will open up that pool a little bit more than what you have it right now. You
Kyrie
said about
Irving?
4.
Flaky, world is flat, Kyrie Irving.
I'm going to I'll put Kyrie in there. I'm going to say I'll extend it to about 10, maybe even 15 if I really think. Maybe if I really think it out. Because what you're saying, Colin, is that, all right, look, I get the marketing, but at some point you're going to have to produce on the floor for that marketing to be sustainable. And you're basically predicting and saying he's a bona fide superstar.
He's an all-star
already.
He'll be an all-star. He will not end up being an all-star until year 2. Because he'll, like every rookie, he'll come into the league, he'll be awful defensively out of the chute. Every NBA guy comes into the league. But at the trading deadline you're going to be like, okay, he's averaging 24 a game.
Okay. Well, another thing that will kind of weigh in my decision-making process is what type of team I have around him. Do I have an older group? Do I have maybe it's the Knicks. Say they have a couple stars on board next season and they're ready to win right now. Then that's when I would look at it and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go and do a scenario like the Cleveland Cavaliers did when Brian went back to Cleveland the second time and they traded Andrew Wiggins for Kevin Love. Ended up working out. I think it would have worked out even if Andrew stayed there, but the fact that you got to see where some of your veteran stars, what they want to do, if they're comfortable playing with a young guy.
Veteran stars don't want to play 82 games anymore. I would love, if I was in New York and I had Durant, Kyrie, and Zion, there's going to be nights that KD's like, I'm gonna take a night off. I can still sell to the fans because they'll come to see Zion.
Of course. But at the same time, hypothetical, say they do get Knicks, get Kyrie and Kevin Durant. Well, they're going over there to win. It's not going to be a cakewalk, and so you have to, the organization has to decide, is Zion conducive to helping them win now?
Well, who's better than that?
Well, that's when you have to look out there and look at the Anthony Davises of the world. Look at other proven stars. He can be boring, all right. But Colin, listen, look. All I see is money in your eyes. That's all I see. We're talking about the product on the floor. Yes, initially it's going to be a buzz, the Z, the Zorro, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be marketable. But at some point, you're going to have to produce on the court to keep that money.
Anthony Davis gets hurt all the time.
He does.
He's not real. He's not really a leader guy. He gives you points and they're forgettable. I don't remember one big basket in his life.
But okay, that's fine. But I think you remember a basket in his life if he's playing on a team that's relevant.
You would trade New York that pick for Anthony Davis.
I'm saying this.
They have no bench.
I'm saying if all the stars aligned and they were able to get 2 superstars, I say you realistically have to look at that option. Not saying I would. You have to look at it, Colin. Colin, you're basically saying this guy's going to come in and be the next coming to Michael Jordan. That's what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is marketability, New York, sales, ability, coachability, stats. He's going to be a 2010 guy fast.
But the first 4 things you mentioned was marketability. There's about 4 things. And then the 5th one was on the court stats. Colin.
Well, they were inches apart. It doesn't mean, just because I named 1-5 and 1-1 doesn't mean there was a football field gap.
The point is, Colin, this guy has to produce to be
I would love to see if New York gets him tonight and the city explodes. I want to see you, the GM, go, I'd like to announce I'm trading him. Nobody in the world.
I'm not doing that right now. I'm not doing that, Colin. All I'm saying if all the stars align for them this offseason and they're able to get 2 bona fide superstars on that roster, all I'm saying is that you have to consider. I'm not saying trade it.
If you announce that as a GM of the Knicks, you'd have to announce it at LaGuardia because you'd have to get on a plane and leave the city within 1 minute.
Hold on, Colin. Have you saw the other guy over there, John Morant? Actually had him on pod last week. That boy's legit himself.
No, I think he's a star, and I've said this. If I'm Phoenix, one of the fascinating things tonight is Phoenix wins it. Mm-hmm. They got a big. They got a shooter. They need John Morant, and I think Morant's going to be a star. I think he's Westbrook, but a better, more polished, refined shooter. In fact, I think he's better today than Westbrook was at this point. He can really shoot.
Okay, so take marketability out of it. You think player to player, you think Zion's going to end up being a better player?
Yes, but I think they're both great. Okay. I mean, it's like saying, who's better? They're all great. They're both going to be all-stars.
Man, I just see dollar signs in your eyes. That's all I'm hearing.
No.
Marketability.
Money
commercials.
What's wrong with all that stuff?
Profit. There's nothing wrong with it if your game can back it up.
Profit. See, you're a newspaper guys. You guys never made a profit. See, us TV guys.
That's true. That's true.
That was a terrible thing to say.
I'm still trying to make a profit. That's
all
true.
right, here we go. All right. So I said this weekend. I had so much fun watching basketball. I just loved it. I loved the Raptors in Philadelphia, the Portland series. I'm watching all these series. I
know where this is going. Go ahead, Colin.
First of all, you already traded Zion out of the city. Okay, so you and I are after a horrible start. I'm not saying LeBron doesn't bring value to the league. He's going to be a great player next year. But I'm watching the NBA. I have had so much fun Friday, Sunday. I don't think he's the top story in the league anymore. And yesterday, Joy said something. When they hired Frank Vogel, Joy's like, I'm just not into the Lakers. And I thought, I live here and I'm not. I'm more into Philadelphia. And I don't think the league's beholden. I think the league's fine without LeBron.
You think so, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I would agree with you. I would agree with you that the league is fine if, that's a big if the league can guarantee that we'll continue to see multiple Game 7s. That was the only reason why the playoffs were relevant, and the fact that we saw a good series matchup with Golden State and Houston Rockets,
right.
and the way everything unfolded. But that's the only reason why the NBA playoffs ratings were so high this past week, because there were Game 7s. That was it. That's the only thing. Now, you take away LeBron James from the playoff equation, with the NBA misses him. But the one thing about LeBron James, and that he's interested on the court, but he's probably even more interesting off the court. That's what moves the needle. That's what keeps people talking for 2-3 days at a time. That's what the league is missing right now. So if you can guarantee me that we're going to see all these series extended out to the fullest extent, then yes, maybe they can do without LeBron. But that's a big if.
Man.
Thank you, Colin.
It's so crazy. Do you think there's a team Zion fits best with? I didn't ask you that. Oh,
yes.
You do? Who?
The Atlanta Hawks.
Give me a break.
Let me tell you something, Colin. Let me tell you something about Atlanta. Golden State, before they made this championship run, it was a sleeping city. People, when they thought about Golden State, they thought about Oakland. They forgot about the whole Bay Area, Silicon Valley, all the business, all the glamour, everything. Let me tell you something, Colin. There's one city that players can't wait to get to that city days before they play. That's Atlanta. But it's a sleeping giant in the fact that the team hasn't been relevant on the court. But once that team gets relevant on the court, and if you see a dynamic like Trae Young, John Collins, and Zion Williamson together, that's Lob City 3.0 over there. If they get that thing going, Atlanta will be Hot Atlanta once again.
So you wouldn't trade him if you were GM of the Hawks, but you'd trade him if you were GM of the Knicks. We ran out of time.
Oh.
The herd.